Last time on LarpForge.
And where the bloody heck am I?
I might help you with that. Hello.
And now.
I am the gypsy. And this will help you home.
Okay. Well, Wait, this is mine. How did you get it?
Boy, just... I have a cooler. Give it to me. I can show you how. You open it like this. And yes, it contains the thing that you can go home. And you will need this too.
A character sheet?
Yes, a character sheet.
Why do I need a character sheet?
To know who you are.
But I already know who I am.
Then who are you?
I'm the LazyLarper.
You are not the LazyLarper. You are Tobias.
For the last time, I am not Tobias.
So hello and welcome back to LarpForge. I'm your host, the LazyLarper. Do you know what's going on next week?
Ooh, I am.
It's Conquest and I'm so excited. Ooh. Since it's Conquest next week, it should be relevant to talk about grouping or groups. Since we have a group at Conquest and we want to talk about it. First thing we're going to talk about when grouping is styling or costuming, whatever you call it. It's the genre you base your group on, it's the style you want your group to be in. You want the whole group to fit together as a whole and still be individuals. Now, a really clear way of seeing this is if you look at people who do Warhammer LARP, for instance. Now, they have regiments of the people that are entirely matching colors and everything, and armor, weapons, everything fits together. But the costume themselves are still quite individual. Then again, they are for soldiers. They need to look alike. They need to look as a regiment and stand as a whole, as a unit. If you play like us, for instance, like a group of different characters, the Kettles are sort of thieves, scallywags. But if you're playing these characters, you still want it to fit together, the genre that your whole group is based on. Our group, for instance, the Kettles, we are a bunch of farmers, thieves, drunk people, brawlers, butchers, scoundrels. And our genre in itself is, well, we need to fit into Conquest of Mythodea, so we need to be based in medieval times. But at the same time, we don't want to be pure medieval. So we based the Kettles around steampunk. But steampunk and medieval times, well, not entirely pure, you know, Victorian steampunk, because we want to be really dirty. We are sort of a, you call, cowboy steampunk in medieval times. The closest thing you can compare us to is probably like an Irish street gang, like you see in Gangs of New York. That's actually the closest thing that are to the Kettles. Now that we have our genre, that's the genre we're based on, then we can start making our individual costumes. Because we don't want uniforms, we want individual costumes. And if you look at mine here, that's actually a traditional medieval costume. It's not very steampunky and it's not very... Yeah, let me change into something different. As you can see, this is a very different costume from the other one, and it's actually not the entire costume. I have some parts I already packed, so hope you bear with me. This here is a little more steampunk inspired. You have the jacket here, you have the vest, you have this shirt, which I might add don't have a flip up here. Weapons that fit for farmers. Now the tall hat, well, we're talking steampunk, we're gonna need a hat. And of course, if we're talking steampunk, we're gonna need goggles. Personally, I don't think you should have goggles just to have goggles. They should have some form of purpose. In my case, they open locks. But now, we have the whole costume here. We have sort of the genre down. This here's just our style, and it might be very different from each other still. So in order for us to stay together even more, we made this. It's a shoulder pad with our logo on. It's a little piece of armor that sort of fits in with the style of our group. We could have made a scarf or something that's smaller, but it would sort of blend in with the rest of the costume, so it would be hard to see. This here, other people can see. Represents our group very clearly. Now our group also do stealth and spy missions, so having an entire costume that was based in the same colors might have been a problem. This little thing here you can take off if you want to go out spying. Now our group is based in the fire camp, and in order for us to show that we are a member of the fire camp, we have chosen to wear a red collar somewhere in our costume. Something clear in our costume. Now I packed mine, but it's a red scarf. And I clearly don't have it on right now, but that's gonna add the last to this costume. Now, secondly, we need to look at functions, or how you group function together, how you support each other, and what is your group's function. Now, if you look at something like, say, a soldier group again, it's a really good example. You have a lot in the group who are all based on fighting, but they all have very special areas in order to sort of support each other. You have the guy who could do shield breaks. You have the guy who's really good at fighting. You have the guy who's a tank. He has so many hit points, it's insane. And you have the doctor who can heal you. If you could compare it to sort of like World of Warcraft, where you have in raid groups, where you have a tank, mage, priest and all that stuff. You need to support each other. Now that being said, you don't have to create the traditional raid group, but you have to look at the group's core function. Now our group, the Kettles' core function is actually healing. We have a lot of potion makers and healers. So that's our main two focus areas. And the rest of us who are not healers, well, we work sort of like ambulance. We carry people, or we might do our own thing out brawling, keeping people away, or maybe getting some injured people so the doctor can make some money. Now we have styling, support each other, make your group's function clear. And the last thing, which is the most important thing, relations. Roleplay, for me, roleplay is about roleplay. The essential, when you're doing a group, you have some really good options of doing role play. You can beforehand create plots together with other characters, other players that you're in a group with, and make it group dynamic. The Kettles, well, we are sort of like a family. You have William Kettle, which is the father. You have Torkild Kettle. You have Torbjörn Kettle. Then had me, Tobias Kettle. Well, that's a lot of cheese, but we all brothers, and one of us is a bastard. Now our storyline together, or our relation to each other, and we are competing for the inheritance of our father. And by competing, I mean the one who survives gets the treasure. So you can see there's going to be a lot of not trusting each other so much. That, for instance, that's what you call group plot. That's personal plot. Or it's not group plot, but it's our plot in the group. Our group's plot. Because our group have a plot. Or we don't have a plot, but we have sort of like a goal, what you could call it. We want to be the rulers of the underworld. We want to rule the gangs, rule the thieves, all that stuff. We want to control, and we want our own land. So we are fighting all the other street gangs, or at least we try to fight them. Our group, that's our overall goal. We don't really care so much about the whole plot of the entire scenario. We have our own goal, and then that's what we're fighting for. Another example is like Sophie and me is like we're playing that we're married in game, which means that we can be the bickering couple that we always are. It could also mean that each time I look at another girl or another woman, she just slaps me because I'm not supposed to do that. These small things give you something to play off and something to play with, and if you're in a group, you have these small things to play off each other. And if you're in a new group, you don't know people, then it's a good idea probably to meet up with them. Say if we're going to Conquest, it's a good idea to meet up before and at least know each other's in-game names. For crying out loud, know each other's in-game names, and then maybe figure out what are the other guys, what are they doing, what can I do in this crazy-ass world. And what would my character feel against that character? So you don't have to stand in game and figure it out on the spot. When you're in a group, you have the advantage of being prepared. And you should definitely take that. If not meet the day before, then just maybe meet an hour earlier, or use the 10 first minutes to sit down and talk. Now, if you want to know more about our group, you can go over to my the LazyLarper's YouTube channel. I'm going to put the link in the description. And there we have put out videos of the characters and people who play them from our group. Not all of us, but a big part of us. That's it for now, and now I need to hurry home because it's getting dark and I need to pack so I can get off to Conquest next week. Tally-ho!
Well, see you next time.
Oh, by the way, do you know who else are coming to Conquest? Kristen Bromley. You should definitely check out her YouTube channel. She's also coming onto the LARPing.org team. And our very own Ivan from LarpForge. I'm so looking forward to meeting them in person. So, anyway, if you're there, go check out us in the fire camp or visit the other guys. I think they're in they should be in the Grand Expedition. And else just have a blast and enjoy the summer. Now I really need to be going. Tally-ho once again.